Sunday morning, jolly old London, England, across the pond, as some would say, with the London Jaguars, a.k.a. the Jacksonville Jaguars, quote-unquote hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Not a great Sunday for either of these two teams. Ken, the point spread at our show sponsor BetMGM, Jacksonville at 1-2 is a 3-point favorite over the 2-1 Falcons. The total seems unfathomably low for a Jaguars game, but then you watch the offense play and you think, total is 43.5. I'm really excited to have this discussion with you. Because, I think I know what you're going to say, but I think you can go in either direction here, and I don't know if I'd be
I sure could. Yeah.
Pen, pencil, blood, or blank, Jaguars and Falcons.
I have a theory about this game. I have a bet I love no matter what. You mentioned the total seems really low. Like, we watched the Jags. You know what else I watched? The Jags defense. Watched them. I love the over in this game. And I'll say what I'm going to say in a second about the spread. And then you could never talk me out of the over if what I'm about to say is true. But I love the over no matter what. Obviously, okay, Trevor Lawrence is out for the game. I don't love the over, but the Jags defense is a known quantity, and it's brutal. Absolutely brutal. And I know the Falcons had trouble scoring against the Lions. They couldn't run the ball very well. And then I think there's probably no team, the Jets would be the other answer to this. There's no team where it's all right, you're down 14 at the start of the fourth quarter. Somehow you won't score again. Other teams playing prevent, you could just go score. What quarterbacks could not score? And that's start. And you'd be like, well, Zach Wilson. You'd be like, yep, that's a good answer. Who else you got? You'd be like, Desmond Ridder. You'd be like, yeah, that's a really good one. The Jags defense is so bad, I don't even think we're going to get to that point. I don't even think we're going to get there. I actually could see this is a really good opportunity for the Falcons to start playing better. Bijan to have a way better game than what he had yesterday. And the Jags offense is not great, but I think the really, 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 really interesting thing in here is there's a ton of rumor that Doug Peterson started calling plays in the second half of the game. So Press Taylor was Jacksonville's offensive coordinator. This was a new thing for Jacksonville this year. So a great year last year, made the playoffs,
Zach's
come back,
brother.
went over the Chargers. Right, yes.
He is, though. That's actually true.
Right. Press. So anyway, Doug Peterson, a big thing this year was you know what? I'm going to, elevate Press Taylor. Not only is he going to be the offensive coordinator, but now he's going to call the plays. And it has been an abject disaster, really, up to this point in the season. Press Taylor might be a nice guy. Maybe he's really good at this. This hasn't gone well at all. And in the first half of the game, it went as poorly as it could possibly go. Doug Peterson gives an interview at coming out of the halftime locker room, just I called them an embarrassment. I said whatever. And you look at all of their metrics, first half, second half. You listen to Peterson in the press conference after the game, where it's no one has said explicitly that he started calling plays instead of Press Taylor. But man, if you had to just make an educated guess about what happened in the second half of the game, you would guess that he was calling plays in the second half of the game. And it went way, way, way better. So that doesn't mean that he has to do it again. He could just be hey, you know what? Here you go, Press, call the plays again. We're going to London this week. But the goal of any team is to win or make decisions that make you win at the highest rate. And if that's what it is, if he's going to call the plays, this total's actually insane. If he's going now, if he doesn't call the plays, I like the over, but I get it. If Peterson's going to call the plays, now we're 47 or more has to be the number, because it's just going to go way, way, way better. So I actually kind of like this as buying the Jags offense. I buy the over no matter what. Kind of over went great yesterday against Houston because I think their defense is so bad. But I think we might see them eventually get back to these high totals, big scoring games. They almost have to let Peterson call them. It can't be what it was the first 2.5 games.
We talked about rock bottom earlier in the show for both of these two teams. Maybe they've both hit it. And what I said, and I'll explain what I mean now, I think the Broncos likely hit rock bottom yesterday. I don't know how much further the Broncos can sink. I don't know that the Bears have scratched the surface yet on how deep this can go this season. And I'm going to talk about organizational stuff for a second here, but I think that this is going to manifest itself in what we see play out over the course of the next couple months and as we approach the NFL draft. So Jay Glazer, Fox Sports NFL insider, says on television on Sunday morning before the game start that the Bears are not fully committed to Justin Fields as their long-term answer at quarterback. The current Bears general manager, Ryan Poles, did not draft Justin Fields. Fields was drafted by the failed regime of Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy as they look to save their jobs for a couple more years. So basically what's happening here is Poles, because that report came from him, I'm sure, is creating a scapegoat in Justin Fields. So this is going to get really bad. Fields is already bad, and you can think that the Bears put him in a terrible position, and they did, and that the organization's bad, and it is. Also, he stinks. He's just bad. At some point, you have to win games, and he actually never wins. So he's bad. And when you get past Fields, it's Nathan Peterman, who's definitely bad. And then Division II player Tyson Bagent, maybe he's good, probably is not going to be good. This team's going to be absolutely terrible. My sense is that Poles is setting this up to fire Eberflus and the coaching staff, because that's going to be the only thing that satisfies this fan base, is to fire everybody. Then he gets to hire a new head coach, armed with 2 probable top 10 picks in the draft next year, maybe even number 1 overall of their own, and then Carolina's first-round pick, draft a new quarterback, and actually maybe that's an avenue to success long-term for this team, which has been bad, obviously, for most of the last 40 years. The Bears have not been really good. So that's just kind of my sense here, Ken. I don't think we're close to rock bottom yet for the 2023 Chicago Bears. I think the Broncos hit their rock bottom yesterday. If Sean Payton is even 51% of the coach that people think he is, and that he was in New Orleans, this team's coming out with their hair on fire on Sunday. I think they're going to lay it on Chicago. I think we can kind of draw some conclusions based off the first 3 weeks of the season, and it doesn't mean that they have to be right for the full 17 game regular season, etc. But I feel good about them right now. I think the Steelers are really good. I think they fall short of the Kansas City, Buffalo, Miami tier. Let's I think call it those 3 teams in the conference now. But I do think they're really good. Okay, you got smoked in week 1 by the Niners in the game that got away from you. The Niners, aside from Kansas City, might be the best team in the league. They beat the Browns, who might be really awesome. They beat the Browns, and then they handled business on the road in Vegas against the Raiders. I think this team's good. I think we'll do the show next Monday, Ken, and I think we'll be very happy because we will have won our bet, and we'll say, I can't believe that the betting market, at least early in the week, was only 3. I really like the Steelers. It's a bet that absolutely just has to be made.
We haven't talked about this since the season started. I'm going to say this, and there's a lot of ways to answer this question, but we talked about it off air already. Who do you think the best team is?
The Chiefs. And I feel really strongly about that. Really strongly.
They may not have the best regular season. The Niners can have a better regular season. The Dolphins can definitely have a better regular season. All they did was score 70 points yesterday. So maybe the Chiefs aren't going to they could still definitely get the 1 seed. Maybe they don't have the most all-encompassing great regular season. But we were talking about this off air. It's just all right, through 3 weeks, everybody write down your number 1 seeds in both conferences, or your 1 through 3 or 1 through 4. You can go 1 through 7 if you want. Go, all right, create some division and championship matchups. Just create some, based on just what you think right now. So on the NFC side, you're going to have some combo of San Francisco hosting Dallas or Philly. I don't even know what you would do instead of that at this point. Maybe you like Detroit at the end of the year, whatever. So that's probably what that's going to be. It's San Francisco hosting someone pretty good. And then just right now, and it can change, but for right now, that's what it is. And then on the other side, you've got a crazy race for the 1 seed probably between Miami, Buffalo, Kansas City. And whoever gets the 1's going to have a significant advantage over the others. And okay, let's say it's AFC Championship, Bills, Chiefs, AFC Championship, Chiefs, Dolphins, Super Bowl, Chiefs, Niners. You betting the other team in those games, or you betting on Mahomes in a small point spread game? What do you do? And be honest. Don't be well, Buffalo. Be really? You're going to Buffalo in February? You're going to bet Mahomes? Is that what you're going to do? And it's okay, by the way. It's okay to bet LeBron in the NBA Finals and bet Tiger in majors and bet these things they have the best player maybe of all time at the end. And it's okay to just be yeah, maybe they're not having the best regular season yet. The Dolphins are having a better season. They're probably just the best team. And would you ever bet based on what you've seen so far? Would you ever bet if I made the line pick in any of these games, or +2 or anything, would you ever bet any of these teams against them in a big spot? Ever? Of course not. Of course not. And that's okay. It's okay to think, but just I think that's interesting that that's where we are. And the Chiefs like aren't a big favorite to win the Super Bowl because I think we got to kind of play this out. Do they have to go on the road to play division and conference championship? All that kind of stuff. But it's funny, like 3 weeks in, and that seems apparent to me. And I know you said it seems obvious to you too.
The Chiefs defense is really good. I think this is going to be the best defense of the Mahomes era that the Chiefs have. And to Ken's point, like, okay, Chiefs Dolphins, pick the winner. Who are you thinking? Chiefs Bills, pick the winner. Any of these teams, it's Kansas City. So I agree completely that as of right now, the Chiefs are the best team. And the other thing is, like, as the season goes on, everyone's like, oh, well, what about the wide receivers? I don't know. Rasheed Rice looked pretty good yesterday. Like, Sky Moore looks like he's halfway decent. Like, they're going to get better as the season goes on. Like, that's the other part of the offense here. That I think that's the one that you could bang on them for. They're going to get better. They're going to get better.
And my answer can be like, what about the wide receivers? Like, my answer can also be, who cares?
It's Mahomes.
Like, that can also be my answer. Like, my answer can be, who cares? And that can still be a smart answer. They have that guy. Who you got? Like, and it's like, well, that's really simplistic. Be like, if you listen to the show, especially as we do all these different sports, like, you notice how often like the best player on the best team in a bunch of sports just wins all the time, or like gets really far or gets really close to winning and then wins. It's just really funny. Like, the Niners look like a really, really, really good team this year, and they're favored by 14 this week. So they're going to keep looking pretty good, probably. And if they get a rematch, of the Super Bowl a few years ago against Kansas City, and the idea would be like, well, it's like maybe Shanahan has a guy he likes more than Jimmy G. He's got Purdy, and, it's like try to take down Mahomes this time. Yeah, that'd be really fun. Like, would I ever bet the Niners in the game if the point spread was like 3 or less? I just wouldn't. And I think it's okay to say that. Hey, parity-filled sport. Also, the Chiefs are probably just going to be the best.